Dualism is a theory about the relationship between the mind and the body, and according to dualism, these two things are made of fundamentally different stuff. In one camp we have the mind, which is often seen as non-physical. This includes things like your thoughts, your consciousness, your soul, if you believe in that. In the other camp we have your body, which is physical and made up of organs and cells and a brain and stuff, which operates by physical laws. The idea became famous through the work of the 17th century French philosopher Descartes. He's the one who came up with the famous phrase cogito, ergo sum, which translates to I think, therefore I am. Descartes argued that you can doubt that your body exists. Maybe it's all an illusion. But you can't doubt that your mind exists, because you are thinking. Therefore the mind and body must be two separate substances. The mind is a thinking, immaterial, conscious thing. The body is a physical thing made of matter that operates by mechanical laws. You can think of it kind of like a computer. The hardware is the physical thing that sits on your desk. The software is what runs on that hardware, like your operating system and all the programs you have installed. Dualism says that the software isn't just a byproduct of the hardware, it's a separate kind of thing. Now, this view has been super influential, but it's also been heavily criticized. Neuroscience has shown very strong links between activity in the brain and various mental states. So many philosophers have argued that the mind isn't some separate thing from the brain. It's just a function of the brain. This is called materialism or physicalism. However, the question of what exactly consciousness is and how it arises in the brain is still a very serious topic of debate in philosophy and neuroscience. Though dualism isn't dead yet, it's still a viable position, even if it's one that most people probably reject. Why does any of this matter? Well, dualism affects a lot of other debates. For example, if the mind is a separate thing from the brain, then maybe it's also a separate thing from the rest of the body. This raises interesting questions about free will. If the mind is immaterial, then maybe it's immortal too. This raises questions about the soul and the afterlife. If we have a non-physical mind, then maybe artificial intelligence can be conscious. This is a question that's currently being hotly debated. And if the mind is not physical, then it might be in some ways resistant to the laws of physics. This could help us understand how some people experience multiple personality disorder. So dualism is a relatively old idea, but it still matters today because it helps us think about the relationship between our brains and our minds. If you liked this video, you might also like our video on the Chinese room argument, which is a famous thought experiment about the nature of intelligence and consciousness. Thanks for watching.